Da, ba, 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 ba. Good morning. So I've just left my accommodation last night, had a good night's sleep, a few beers in the evening, nice breakfast. I'm on my way now to Wasdale Head, and I've just stopped, and I just want to show you the view that I can see now. It is a stunning day. Yeah, wow. What a beautiful day. A bit of an aborted start. I've been along this path before, but then I suddenly realised that I needed to make use of the facilities in the car park, so I had to go back, drop the kids off at the pool, and here I am again, walking along the path. It's still stunning. So this first section is quite gentle. I'm walking alongside a dried up riverbed, which I'll try and show you in a second when the foliage allows. Gives you a taste of just how dry it's been up here over the last, well, few months really. Yeah, normally I think this would be a fast flowing river, but it's just a jumble of stones. So this first section basically goes along this river, which is called Lingmel Beck, and will take us eventually up to Stye Head, and I think Stye Head is over there somewhere. It's about halfway up the mountain, or a mountain, not Scarfell Pike, but the one next to it, which is called Great End, I think. So yeah, what a gorgeous day. Couldn't have picked a better day. There's no wind, it's sunny but not too hot. It's just perfect. Hello, sheepy. Bit of water here. Don't want to get wet feet so early in the journey, so let's do this sensibly. Hello. Couple of hikers in front of me might be doing the same route as me, corridor route. We shall keep an eye on them and follow them. That way, if they get lost, I get lost. I had the choice of bringing my lightweight walking shoes or my full leather walking boots, and I chose to bring my full leather walking boots. And luckily, because despite the fact that there's been hardly any rainfall and that big river Lingmel Beck is completely dried up, there is actually quite a lot of water around. So had I been wearing my Gore-Tex lightweight walking shoes, I'd have wet feet already, which wouldn't be a good start to the walk. But my leather boots, freshly dubbined up, are so far doing the job of keeping my feet nice and dry. Now this is a sign that we really do need to get. Beware of the kipper. Another interesting sign, I don't know if you can see that. And lo and behold, this is St Olaf's Church. England's smallest parish church, was built around 1550. Wow. Let's go and have a little look, shall we? The obligatory yew trees that you often see growing in churchyards in Great Britain, because yew was made into bows, and England especially were very proficient with the longbow back in medieval times, and the yew tree was planted in churchyards because it would never be cut down by farmers if it was in a churchyard, and therefore the army or the king would always have a plentiful supply of yew to make bows. So this is the church. Beautiful, beautiful building. Let's go in. Oh wow. Oh my goodness me. I will lift up mine eyes onto the hills. Very appropriate. Who was St Olaf? King Olaf II, King of Norway. Interesting. What an absolutely charming little church. Wow. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Look at the simple crucifix up there, just made with branches cut from trees. Incredible. There you have it, the smallest parish church in England. And you know what? I think if I lived around here, I would definitely come to this church. It's amazing. Wow, well that was a nice little detour. Stunning, absolutely gorgeous. Now then, which way do we go? Which way do we come from? Well, that's Wasdale Head over there, so I reckon we have to go this way. So that peak there is Scarfell, which is 802 metres high, I think. That one directly in front is Great Gable, which is 890 something, I think. And that one sticking out from the ridge in front of us is Great End, and where we're heading for is the col between Great Gable and Great End. That dip, that V shape in the middle there is Stye Head. So that's our objective for now. So this is Gable Beck. There's a waterfall that comes down from between Gable End and Great Gable and comes all the way down here, all the way eventually to that lake over there, which is Wastwater. And I guess normally this would be a lot fuller than it is now. As you can see, it's just a trickle really. So we're getting slowly towards our first objective, Stye Head up there. There's been no real ascent as yet. We'll be going steadily up, but nothing too serious. I guess once we get to the bottom of that ravine over there, then it will be a bit more energetic to climb up that. So far I haven't seen anybody else on this route, and I know I'm going in the right direction, so that's not the case that I've gone wrong. I think it's the route I'm doing isn't the normal route that you climb up Scarfell Pike, the corridor route. It's not the most direct, it's not the shortest, but it is much more interesting, I think, and a lot quieter, as you can see. Now the terrain that I'm walking on is actually, this bit is quite a nice shingly path, but most of it so far has been like that, sort of broken big bits of rock, which is quite hard to walk on. It uses up quite a lot of energy because you're always adjusting your position with each footfall, and it is warm, it really is. I'm actually quite surprised at how hot it is here. I thought it would be a lot cooler than it is today, and the weather forecast said it was going to be cloudy, a little bit windy, but just cloudy, no sun. But as you can see, the sun is burning through the clouds and it is pretty warm, so I'm very glad that I brought plenty of water with me. So this is a closer look at Great Gable, a shade under 900 metres, so that's a pretty impressive rock formation at the top there. Looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. You expect to see a load of orcs coming over the top of that. I certainly hope not. So that's the top of Scarfell. Very steep, very rocky. It would be quite difficult to climb up there, I think, but it's pretty impressive. So that's Stye Head up ahead, which is the intersection of several walking paths, so I'm going to stop there and have a drink and have an Abbey Barnes energy ball. Yeah, there are people on this path. I've seen them up ahead, so I am definitely on a recognised walking trail, which is good news. Yeah, so apart from the sound of the bird song, the only other sound you can hear is the sound of the water in the beck down there. And I guess normally in wetter months or after rainfall it would be a lot louder, because there'd be much more water running down there. But today it's just a gentle ripple in the breeze. Speaking of breeze, there really isn't any. There's hardly any wind at all, which is good for climbing, but not good for keeping you cool. Still, let's push on to Stye Head, and we'll have a little break there. So the route's got a lot more serious now. Proper rock scrambling as we're getting higher up. We're going over these little streams, mountain streams, lovely waterfalls, and luckily this is all steps cut in the, or made steps along the route, which is much easier to walk on than that broken up rock from before. Yeah, this is the bit that I was, or one of the bits I was a bit worried about, Kipper, because it's very tricky to know where to put your feet. He'd have probably been fine, but I'd have been worrying about him. So you can see our elevation. So we've come to almost to the point of Stye Head, and the scenery has opened out to more mountains right across the valley there. That's the way we've just come. That peak over there is Great End, which is another big one, and the path is now levelled out after some pretty steep inclines and some quite scrambly rocks. We've got a flat walk for a bit, all the way over to Stye Head, which is the intersection of about 5 different paths, and there's a tarn down there, so we should be able to work out exactly where we are. It's so warm, I wouldn't quite mind having a little dip in that, but it would be freezing cold. Oh, what's this? In case of emergency, ask for police, then mountain rescue. Oh, this is like a Stye Head stretcher box. Looks like a coffin. It'd be pretty warm in there. Right, so I guess this must be Stye Head. We've made it. Excuse me, Mr. Sheep. Am I going the right way? I have deviated off the actual path, but I think this is still heading in the right direction, roughly to join up with the path. Still can't actually see Scarfell Pike.
I don't think. I think it's behind that, which is Great End. So I'm going to go this way, Mr. Sheep, unless you tell me not to. Okay, I'm going to go this way. This is a sort of path, but I honestly don't know whether this path has been made by people or by sheep. If it's by sheep, then they're a bit more sure-footed than I am, so this could be a mistake. But we're on an adventure, so let's see where we end up. It's a bit scrambly-bambly, but there is definitely a path down there. Ah, I see there's people over there. I wonder if that's the path that I should be on. And I wonder if that kind of ravine over there is the actual corridor route. And you join it at the bottom there and then walk up the corridor. Then you get onto the ridge. And then once you're up on the ridge, next stop is Scarfell Pike, eventually. Right, let's go. I'm definitely on the right path, because there's loads of people going along this route, and this is actually the corridor route. So I kind of stumbled on it by accident after I'd walked parallel to it and then crossed that peaty watery field, but I'm actually on the path now. And this corridor route goes all the way up to the top of that ridge, pretty much over the shoulder of Great End there, the big peak, and then Scarfell Pike is behind that. So near enough straight from here. But I thought I'd take the opportunity to sit down and have a energy ball and admire the view. And actually there's a bit of relief from the sun because it's clouded over a little bit, which means the sun's not beating down anymore, so it's a little bit cooler. Certainly is beautiful here. I've seen a lot of dogs as well. A lot of dogs. Some quite small ones with very small legs, so I'm not quite sure how they're going to cope up top, but maybe they know something I don't. Sheep are the best climbers around here. It's quite a steep scramble section, this.
going up. That's what mountains do. They just keep going up. Until you can't go up anymore. And then you've got to come back down again. So, first view of Scarfell Pike. As far as I'm aware, that one's not, that's brown coal or something. But that one behind, that is Scarfell Pike. So that's what we're heading for. The summit of that bad boy. Minutes. On every climb I've done so far, and that's only two others really, Carantirial and Kinder Scout, there's a point where I just think, oh my god, I can't do this. How the hell am I going to get up there? That's crazy. It's too high, it's too far. I'm too tired and hot. But I just have to push through it because I know that I've done it before and I've had exactly that same feeling. I keep on walking and eventually you get through the other side of it and then you feel good again and you can go for hours. So I just need to keep on pushing and just remind myself of where I am and just keep looking around at the view. Which is incredible, and to say that nothing worthwhile is ever easy. So it's not easy, but it is worthwhile. Up there. Let's go. So that's where I've got to go. Up that little gully. Where those people have stopped, I don't know whether the path is up to the right of them or up the slightly less steep scree slope to the left. I think it's probably to the left. It does look a bit steep the other way. Yeah, I think to the left and then up onto the ridge and then up to the summit there. Just having a breather. Drink of water. Maybe a bit of chocolate covered Kendal mint cake. I think that's a good idea. Need an energy boost. And then it's going to be plodding one foot in front of the other until I get up on the ridge. And then when I'm on the ridge, it'll all be plain sailing, I think. Because
that is the summit. Yeah, that scree slope looks hard. Slippery and hard. But we'll get up it. And up until about 5 minutes ago the sun was beating down, it was boiling hot. The cloud cover's come in now, so it's actually much more pleasant. There's a little bit of a breeze and a bit of relief from the sun. But I'm absolutely drenched. I've had a couple of capfuls of cold water from the little streams that I've just tipped into my hat and then put straight onto my head just to cool my head down, and that was very nice. Very instant hit of energy that gives you. Oh dear, I think that's another little stream down there, so I might have to do that again before I attempt that horrible looking scree slope. Wow. A jumble of scree to get up. There's no path, just scree. You going that way? I didn't see anyone go up there. I only saw people go up this way. That way is shorter, but I think it's steeper. So that was the rocky scree slope, which up there is the ridge. That was hard, but not too difficult. We're getting pretty close. Summit's just up there. I don't know how much beyond that ridge it is. Not far, hopefully. That was quite a tough scramble. Onwards and upwards. So this is the summit boulder field. It's very, very rocky. There's no path, so you just literally have to pick your steps really carefully. There's a drone. Just to make sure that you're not putting your foot down a hole or standing on a rock that's not very stable. Oh, that is the summit where all those people are standing. Oh wow. So I'm almost there. All I've got to do is make it over this lunar landscape rock field, and then I will have summited Scarfell Pike, the highest mountain in England. Hooray! blast and botheration. Nearly went over then. Bloody Nora, this is hard going, this. Every step is treacherous. Cracked rocks. So, the last few steps.
You know what? If you go up to Wales, you go up there, there's a train that goes to the top.
I was just going to say, one step down. Definition of ironic. Come on, find us. Thank you. Here's something to do with a breather.
I'm not going up the steps.
You're not going up the steps.
You're British, isn't it? Liver can't balance now. Sit it out, sit it in it. In case it will have
Oh, that's the one.
Hi guys, very safe.
Made it. Wow, that was busy up there. Bloody hell, wasn't expecting that. Very busy. So I've started my descent now. There's a sheep. I'm going to ask him to tell me if I'm going the right way. If he doesn't say anything, then I am going the right way. Excuse me, Mr. Sheep, is this the right way? Yeah, I'm definitely going the right way. There's Wast water down there. So this path that I'm going back on is again not one of the more common ones, so it should be a bit quieter, but it is a more direct route. I think there's a bit more up and down, because I think the path goes across there and up that mountain, which I think is Great End. So we'll get up the top of that, and then basically the path goes all the way down on the other side. Yeah, So it's 1:30 now, so let's get a move on. Hello, Mr. Sheep. Am I still going the right way? Well, he hasn't replied, so I guess I must be. Look at that. Actually, that was wrong what I said earlier on. That's Simmons Knot, not Great End in front of us. That's 850 odd metres high. And behind that is Scarfell, not Scarfell Pike, but Scarfell, which is not as high as Scarfell Pike. But just look at the stunning view. Unbelievable. And it's so nice to get back to peace after the top. The top was a bit weird actually, with so many people, and just it wasn't quite what I was expecting. I guess I should have expected it because it's a beautiful day and it's summer holidays and it's going to be busy, but I was quite surprised at how many people there were. Sheep obviously don't go up there because it's too noisy for them. They come down here where it's nice and peaceful. But look at that. Imagine climbing that bad boy up that sheer face there. I reckon I could do that with a very, very long rope, but not today. So we keep going along this path for a little bit longer, and then there should be a path that goes off to the right, and that's the path we take, which leads basically back down to, well, in the direction of Wastwater and in Wasdale Head. So the descent section of this hike is quite a bit shorter than the ascent, which is definitely the right way around, because I do not like descending. I much prefer going up. Descending I do find quite difficult. It hurts the old joints, know what I mean? Oh. There's another mountain rescue box coming up here. There was one of these at Sky Head. They have these dotted around the mountain, where they have inside them a stretcher and thermal blankets and things, so that if there is a casualty on the mountain, you can phone up Mountain Rescue and they'll give you the code to get into the box, and you can get the casualty as comfortable as possible. I'm not quite sure whether you're then meant to stretcher him down off the mountain, or whether it's just there for the rescue people to come and do it, or even whether you're meant to put them in the box. You're a bit warm in there, I guess that's the point on a bad day weather-wise. You put them in there for shelter until the mountain rescue people turn up. Not a sound, not a sound, apart from distant baying of sheep. Oh, and some buzzy insect flying overhead, as long as it's not a drone, of which there was at least 2 on the summit, which were very annoying. as you can see, this stuff that I'm walking on is pretty much, I'd say, most of the journey. Oh god, that's a bit of an example of what can happen. Whoa! It's very slippery. So another reason why I don't like going down, because going up you tend not to slide on it, but it just makes walking up hard, because you're kind of always sliding back a little bit, but walking down is actually quite treacherous. So this is the mountain rescue box. I wonder when the last time that was used. Good idea though. So I've just got to the crossroads in the route. So this is the turning I need to take. So if I walk down here, you see all of a sudden, oh dear, that looks quite steep. This is the way I've got to go. So oh yeah. You going down that way or that way? Right. Very sensible. I'm going down that way. Well, it probably looks harder than it is, but yeah. I'll go down a little bit and then maybe retrace my steps. Yeah. See you later. Right, well let's attempt this, okay? I may need to turn the camera off because I might need two hands for this, because it's pretty steep and very shaly, and we don't like shale because it's very slippery. But there is this little kind of gully bit going down here, which at least gives me something to hang on to. You've just got to make sure you're always putting your feet somewhere that's as flat as possible and doesn't have loose rock on it. So far so good. Rock climbing manoeuvre there. So we need to get on this little bit here. Right, how are we going to do this? I think I might need two hands for this. I guess this little gully I'm in now could at some parts of the year be full of water. Looks like it's been created by water, but there isn't any at the moment. But it's definitely marked as a path on my map, so it yeah, it is a path, but it's certainly a tricky one, and it's definitely not one that Kipper could have come down. Having said that, he probably would have come down it, but I would have been terrified. Right, let's continue. I just needed both hands for that last little bit, because it was a little bit hairy. Whereas now it's flattening out a little bit. I've got the side here to hold on to. What a brilliant route that is, though. That is absolutely fantastic. That's brilliant. That's definitely one of the highlights of today, that was. I've still got all that way to go. I imagine I'll probably slide the last little bit. But because it's so steep, you are losing a lot of altitude very quickly, which is better because it means you get down faster and give the old knees a rest. So rock climbers over there, look like they're just about to try and climb that face. Looks like fun. Got people coming up here as well. It's actually not a bad route to get to the summit, this. It's much more direct going up that gully. Once you're at the top of that gully, you haven't really got that far to go until you get to the summit. So I wonder if that's the route that they're doing. But it's very, very slippery. Probably actually harder to climb up than climb down, because at least when you're climbing down you can slide a little bit on that loose stuff, and it doesn't really, as long as you've got something to hold on to, it doesn't cause you any problems. There might be rock climbers, they might be heading off up that face possibly. Look at that sheep. He doesn't need a harness and ropes. He's a natural. Wow, just look at this. Absolutely incredible. Beautiful, beautiful. Stunning place. Absolutely stunning. So that's Wasdale Head down there. I've got to follow this path, which meets up with the main path where you can see people walking down, and then the path just drops into Wasdale Head. So walk through the campsite and back to the car park. So not too long now. Probably, it's 2:20. I reckon I'll be back by probably 3 actually. Yeah, I reckon I'll be back by 3. Oh dear. So a little bit of a fall. There's a little gill over there with some nice ice cold running water, so I went to try and get a capful to tip over my head and slipped, misjudged my footing and bashed my hip. Not too hard, not as hard as I did in Ireland, but still hurt. Luckily nobody saw me do it, apart from a sheep that was right there, but he's promised not to tell anyone. So those climbers, I'm not sure if you can still see them now, are actually on that little ledge, so they've gone a little bit up that rock face. So they've obviously done their first pitch. So we are going to continue down this path and join up with the main path and then get back to Wasdale Head. I mean, you can see how much elevation I've dropped by coming down that gully. You know, I mean, the summit's only really just over the top of there. It's not that far past the top of that gully, and yet, you know, there's Wasdale Head there, so it's a much more direct route than the one I did, than the corridor route. It's much longer. But yeah, that's one to know about for the future. Sun's come out again. Okay, let's go. This is actually probably the worst bit of the day, is coming down these steps. I hate it. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's 'cause it hurts my knees. But that's where we're heading. That's Wastwater. Wasdale Head's just, you can't really see it, but it's just a little hamlet just beyond the brow of that hill, and that's where the campsite is and the car park. And flat ground, which I'm very much looking forward to. Mountain rescue going up. Someone's in trouble, I think. So we're very nearly back. We've just got this little bit of path to go, which I think comes to the camping place, and the car park's just the other side of that. So we're very nearly back. This bit's been really nice actually, because apart from the fact it's still descending but not as steeply, a lot of it's been quite dappled shade, and that's been the first shade that I've had all day. It's been very hot, and the sun's been quite fierce, so I hope I haven't burnt my neck or my ears. I probably have. Oh dear. It's I can swear that I've come down a lot further than I went up. It's really bizarre, because I seem to have been descending for absolutely ages. But then that is the thing with Scarfell Pike. You do climb pretty much all of it. I think you start off at Wasdale Head, which is about 80 metres above sea level. So you're basically climbing 900 vertical metres. Whereas other peaks aren't like that, because where you start off from is normally higher. So with Scarfell you really do feel the climb, and especially the descent. It feels like I've been descending about 1800 metres. Oh, but that's just me moaning and whinging. I've had a brilliant day. It's been hard. I'd say it was harder than Carron 2 Hill. Not as scary, nowhere near as scary. From that point of view, it's been no dramas at all, but it's certainly been physically tough. But I've done it. So that's 2 of the 4 of the highest peaks of the British Isles. So Snowdon and Ben Nevis still to go. Assuming I don't break my leg walking down these last few steps. So I'm back at the campsite, the car park just over there. That's what I've just climbed. That mountain right in the middle that looks lower, that's because it's further away. That is Scarfell Pike. Surrounded by other peaks. Doesn't look too high from down here, but it's quite a long way up and even further down. Blimey O'Reilly, that was hard coming down. I'm not built for descending, I'm built for ascending. Oh, it's hot now, very hot. I'm going to get to that shop, get some cold fluids and get these boots off. Oh wow, there's a parascender. Now that is the way to come down. So I'm just about to embark on my 6-hour drive back. Wow, what a day. Scarfell Pike was incredible, and the Lake District, and I've never really been here before, is stunning and beautiful and awe-inspiring. So yeah, onwards and upwards, on to the next one. What an amazing, humbling experience to have done this. I really enjoyed it, and I hope when I do Snowdon that Loretta and Owen and Kipper will be able to do it with me. That would be the icing on the cake. So anyway, I'm going to get back in the car and go home.